In a quiet residential area of Greenwich, the early summer sunlight gently illuminated the white two-story houses. Among them, the Wilson family's garden was particularly well maintained, with English roses blooming elegantly. This house, purchased 2 years ago, was our family's pride, a dream home that my husband Michael had acquired through his successive promotions. From the large living room window of this $3 million house, I watched my son Aiden practicing baseball in the garden. With an expression too serious for a 6-year-old, he was playing catch with his father Michael. The living room, surrounded by classic modern interiors, had a calm atmosphere with gray and white tones, and all the furniture was uniformly from designer brands. "Mom, did you see that? Wasn't that straight pitch amazing?" Aiden burst into the living room with a beaming smile. His forehead was slightly damp with sweat. "People often say his light brown hair and large eyes resemble mine." "Yes, it was wonderful. But let's take a shower first. We need to get ready before Grandma arrives," I said, gently stroking my son's head. As a luxury real estate agent, I'm particularly conscious of maintaining a clean appearance. Today is Sunday, our weekly family meeting day. My mother-in-law Barbara was someone who valued punctuality. True to her former position as a mathematics teacher at Greenwich High School, her perfectionist nature was reflected in her appearance: perfectly set gray short hair, elegant Ralph Lauren and Burberry clothing, and understated Tiffany accessories. She exuded the air of a typical upper-class widow. However, I had begun to sense the true nature lurking beneath that elegant exterior. My experience majoring in business administration in college had taught me the importance of seeing through people's facades. What particularly concerned me was her attitude toward Aiden. While she appeared friendly on the surface, there was something cold in her gaze. She showered unlimited affection on her daughter Caroline's children, Emma and Lily, but seemed to keep her distance from Aiden. The price difference in Christmas presents was blatant. "Jennifer, what's for dinner tonight?" My husband's voice came from behind. Michael, who had majored in computer science at Stanford University and now worked as a middle manager at a Silicon Valley tech company, always played baseball with Aiden on holidays. It was their precious father-son time. Grilled salmon with seasonal organic vegetables. Because of Aiden's egg allergy, I've specially prepared a vegan chocolate cake for dessert. I found a new recipe at Whole Foods. While I work as a luxury real estate agent, I always make time to spend weekends with family. Cooking is my hobby, and I make an effort to prepare healthy meals using organic ingredients. Among Greenwich's upper-class families, we might be one with relatively new values. Mom," Aiden, who had finished his shower and changed into a new polo Ralph Lauren shirt, looked at me somewhat hesitantly. "What is it? Will Grandma avoid me today too?" In her recent Instagram photo, I was the only one not included. That question made my heart ache. A 6-year-old child was aware of being ostracized by his grandmother. In family photos posted on social media, Aiden was always placed at the edge or deliberately excluded. He was increasingly being left out of family events. At the recent Memorial Day barbecue party, Barbara had tried to isolate Aiden in the children's room. "It's okay. Mom and Dad are here for you," I answered with a strong smile. But how long could I continue to overlook this situation? I sighed deeply while arranging my long brown hair. Greenwich Country Club's private room. In front of the marble fireplace, Aiden was supposed to celebrate his 6th birthday. I had set aside a budget of $30,000 and hired a professional party planner to prepare everything perfectly. Champagne gold tablecloths, decorations featuring Yankees players, and a custom baseball cake. Everything was prepared for my son's special day. Barbara, at least today. I could see Michael confronting his mother in a low voice. Beside him, Aiden awkwardly handled his new baseball glove. Barbara's birthday present was clearly a cheap item from a discount store. 2 weeks earlier, at granddaughter Emma's birthday party, Barbara had given her a custom American Girl doll with a complete wardrobe set. The price must have easily exceeded $1,000. Barbara had posted Emma's present on social media with the caption, "To my beloved granddaughter. Mom, this glove." Aiden's voice trembled. My baseball-loving son had reached the age where he could tell the quality of equipment. My heart clenched at his expression when he opened the present. "It's okay. We'll go to the sports shop with Daddy later and pick out a new one," I said quietly while embracing my son. In the corner of the room, Caroline's children were playing with their new iPads, also presents from Barbara. Memorial Day weekend. During the family gathering at Barbara's mansion, the annual family photo shoot took place. A renowned portrait photographer had been capturing the Wilson family's photos for 3 generations. White roses bloomed abundantly in the garden, creating a scene like something from a movie. "Aiden, move a little more to the edge," Barbara instructed the photographer. She deliberately pushed Aiden to the side, positioning Caroline's family in the center instead. The photographer showed a confused expression but couldn't defy the client's wishes. I squeezed my son's hand tightly. That night, Barbara posted the family photo on Instagram. However, Aiden wasn't in it. The photo had been cleverly cropped, completely cutting out our son. Barbara's account, with its many followers, quickly received comments like, "What a lovely family photo." I quietly cried while staring at my smartphone screen. In early July, the situation worsened at a pool party at Barbara's home. The Connecticut summer sun reflected blindingly off the pool's surface. "Aiden, don't get in the pool. It's water quality testing day." Barbara excluded only Aiden while the other grandchildren swam happily. The smile disappeared from my son's face. I quietly watched this scene from a deck chair. High-end surveillance cameras recorded everything. But Grandma, Emma, and Lily are. They're different. They know how to use the pool properly. Barbara's words carried clear discriminatory intent. At that moment, tears glistened in Aiden's eyes. I realized the gravity of the situation when I received an email from Aiden's teacher, Mrs. Watson. A message from a teacher at Greenwich's most highly regarded public elementary school carried weight. "I'm concerned about Aiden's recent behavior. He's spending more time alone during breaks and barely eating lunch. His expression particularly clouds over when family topics come up." That night, what I witnessed in my son's room broke my heart. In the light spilling from the study, Aiden was crying quietly alone. "Mom, am I a bad kid? Why only me?" Aiden was curled up small in his pajamas. Family photos were scattered on the bed. In all of them, Aiden was either pushed to the edge or completely missing. The baseball trophy on his nightstand cast a shadow in the moonlight. "No, Aiden. You're a wonderful child." I held my son tightly. His small body trembled slightly. Michael came into the room, and the three of us embraced for a long time. From that day on, I began recording everything. Photos taken with a high-end smartphone, voice memos recording conversations, and detailed diary entries. These were stored for the day they might be needed. I created a folder called Records in Google Drive. Michael seemed to be thinking the same thing. Evidence of Barbara's discriminatory behavior was steadily collected in his work cloud storage. When he consulted a lawyer friend, he was advised to continue keeping records in case they're needed. The situation became decisive on the last Sunday in August. At a dinner party at Barbara's house. On the terrace, the twilight sky was stained deep purple. A full course of French cuisine was laid out on the table. However, Barbara deliberately prepared dishes containing eggs for Aiden's meal. "Oh my, I forgot about Aiden's. What was it?" "His allergy," Barbara said with a smirk, making an insincere apology. Across the table, Caroline shifted uncomfortably. At that moment, something definitively changed within me. I intuitively knew that everything had to change during the family trip planned for the following week. In the lobby of the Breakers, a luxury resort hotel in Newport, Rhode Island. The setting sun's light streamed across the marble floor reminiscent of a 19th-century European palace. Massive chandeliers hung gracefully from the ceiling, and plants were perfectly arranged in every corner. It was the first day of the Wilson family's annual summer trip. I was heading to the front desk while holding my son's hand. "Let me confirm your reservation," the young front desk staff member began in a polite tone. Behind them, Barbara wore a smug expression. "Yes, the Wilson party. Rooms for Mrs. Barbara, Mr. George, Miss Caroline and her 2 children, and Mr. Michael and his wife." My spine froze. Aiden's name wasn't called. What about Aiden's reservation? Isn't there a room reservation for my son? My voice trembled slightly. Michael stood beside me, his face tense. Barbara stepped forward and smirked. Her expression contained 6 years of hatred condensed into one moment. "That child isn't worthy of being with us. Only my daughter's children are my true grandchildren." The air in the lobby froze. Caroline gasped, and Emma and Lily wore worried expressions. The front desk staff was clearly confused. My cheeks grew hot, and my hands began to shake. I felt tears welling up in my eyes but took a deep breath to calm myself. Aiden's small hand squeezed tightly in mine. "Mom." Aiden's voice trembled softly. For 6 years, I had endured my mother-in-law's behavior. To maintain superficial family peace, to show respect for my husband's mother. But that was over now. Slowly turning toward Aiden, I embraced my son gently. In that warmth, I poured all my love and determination. "It's okay, Aiden. We have somewhere better to be." Michael nodded silently. His eyes held a determination I'd never seen before. "I apologize. We'll be canceling our reservation," I told the front desk staff. Strength had returned to my voice. "Jennifer." "Wait." Barbara's voice echoed behind us. But we didn't look back. Taking Aiden's hand, we left the lobby with dignified steps. Our footsteps on the luxury marble floor echoed like a quiet resolution. Outside, the twilight sea glowed golden. As we got into the taxi, Aiden's expression brightened. "Mom, can we go to the aquarium today?" "Of course. From today on, let's make our own new memories," I answered while stroking my son's head. Just then, my mobile phone started ringing. It was Barbara calling. The screen already showed more than 10 missed calls. Messages were arriving one after another. "Where are you? Come back immediately. Are you trying to embarrass me? Do you have any idea how difficult it was to make these hotel reservations? Everyone is waiting." I quietly rejected the call and turned off the phone. Michael was doing the same. The coastal line visible from the taxi window glowed beautifully, as if blessing the beginning of our new life. "Hey, Mom," Aiden spoke in a small voice. "This is the first time." "The first time?" "Yes. The first time Mom stood up for me in front of Grandma." Those words made tears flow from my eyes. Michael's hand was gently placed on my shoulder. The taxi continued quietly through the streets of Newport. In the opposite direction from the luxury hotel where Barbara was. This was the path we had chosen. There was no turning back. 1 week after the incident at the Newport Hotel, the town of Greenwich appeared to maintain its peaceful daily life. However, a fierce storm was raging within the Wilson family. In the living room of Barbara's mansion, George Wilson violently threw his mobile phone onto the expensive Persian rug. Barbara's husband and Michael's father, known for his usually mild temperament, now had a face red with anger. "Barbara, what have you done?" George's voice echoed through the high-ceilinged living room. 6 years. You've been discriminating against our grandchild for 6 years. Barbara remained seated on the luxury sofa, picking up a teacup stained with lipstick. "I was just making a realistic judgment. Don't Caroline's children have more potential?" "Potential? By what criteria are you judging a 6-year-old child's potential?" George had just finished canceling his appointment with his lawyer. "I'm considering divorce. And the division of assets won't be in your favor." At those words, Barbara's expression finally froze. In Greenwich's upper society, divorce was still taboo. Especially for someone like her, a pillar of social circles. Meanwhile, at Caroline's house, a different kind of crisis was unfolding. In a quiet corner of the luxury residential area, 10-year-old Emma and 8-year-old Lily confronted their mother. "Mom, why didn't you help Aiden?" Tears glistened in Emma's eyes. "We always knew that Grandma was being mean to Aiden. Aiden is our cousin. He's important family." Lily's voice trembled. "I don't want to go to Grandma's house anymore." Caroline leaned against the expensive kitchen counter, at a loss for words. While she herself had doubts about her mother's behavior, she hadn't been able to openly oppose it. But now, her children's pure sense of justice was stirring her heart. At a Starbucks near Greenwich Station, Michael was having his final conversation with his mother. The surrounding bustle seemed to mask this crucial dialogue. "That's enough, Mother. Michael's voice was quiet but filled with strong will. This means cutting ties. I want you to stay away from Aiden completely from now on. Michael, I don't want to hear the reasons. I don't want to know why you kept hurting my son for 6 years. An unopened latte sat on the Starbucks table. Your need for control and prejudice destroyed this family. Barbara's face contorted beneath her perfectly applied makeup. I just wanted the best family. Caroline's children carry my blood. But Aiden is my son. No further explanation is needed. Michael quietly stood up. Goodbye, Mother. That evening, we held a family meeting in our dining room. 6 years' worth of evidence was spread across the table. Photos, audio recordings, social media post records, and the letter of concern from Aiden's teacher. Caroline had also joined with her children. Her husband David had made it clear he supported his wife and children. This is the evidence we've collected, I began quietly. Everything about Barbara's discriminatory behavior is recorded here. I can't believe it. Caroline picked up a photo. What terrible things I've overlooked. Emma and Lily sat beside Aiden. The 3 children were quietly playing with Lego blocks amid the adults' heavy conversation. That scene somehow gave us hope. What are we going to do now? Caroline asked anxiously. Legal measures are already prepared, Michael answered. We'll seek court intervention if necessary. We'll fight as far as we need to protect Aiden. We're on Aiden's side. Emma suddenly exclaimed. Grandma is wrong. Aiden didn't do anything wrong. Those words brought tears to the eyes of all the adults in the room. A 10-year-old girl's pure sense of justice. It reminded us of something we had almost lost. Thank you, everyone, Aiden said in a small voice. I'm not scared anymore. As the night deepened, we began to see the shape of a new family. One based not just on blood ties, but on love and justice, a family in the truest sense. The next day, Barbara sat alone in her dark study at home. In her hands were divorce mediation papers. On the table, a mobile phone piled with unread messages. And on the wall, family photos with Aiden cropped out. Her perfect life was beginning to crumble due to her own prejudice. And for the first time, she was beginning to understand that the responsibility was entirely her own. Seated in her expensive chair, Barbara quietly cried. The stars shone in Greenwich's summer night sky. But she no longer had a family to share its beauty with. 1 year later, we were having a barbecue party in our garden in Greenwich. 7-year-old Aiden was playing with a new baseball set alongside his cousins Emma and Lily. Children's laughter bounced across the lawn. Home run. Aiden's joyful voice rang out. He had grown taller and his expression had brightened. Weekly therapy sessions and family love had gradually healed his emotional wounds. Caroline sat down beside me and offered me iced tea. Seeing Aiden smile, I feel again that our decision wasn't wrong. I nodded silently. Over this past year, we lost many things but gained new ones. While our relationship with Barbara was completely severed, we gained family bonds in the truest sense. Michael changed jobs, moving to a company that offered more flexible working arrangements. He always spends weekends with family and never misses Aiden's baseball games. The pressure that once showed on his face has disappeared. Jennifer, look, Michael called me. He showed me his phone screen. It was the digital edition of the Greenwich Times. Barbara's name caught my eye. Board member resigns from prestigious private school. Barbara Wilson's sudden decision shocks local community. Barbara now lives alone in a small apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Her divorce from George was finalized, and she voluntarily withdrew from Greenwich's social circles. Her former friends began avoiding association with her. Her perfect life had crumbled. "How's Grandma doing lately?" I heard Emma asking her mother Caroline. The children sometimes worry about Barbara. "She's going to therapy," Caroline answered quietly. "She's trying to face her mistakes." Last week, a long letter arrived from Barbara. Written in meticulous handwriting across 10 pages of stationery were words of regret and apology. "I tried to create a perfect family and ended up destroying something precious. Aiden should have been loved just like my biological grandchildren, but my prejudice and arrogance hurt his pure heart. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want to acknowledge my mistakes and spend my remaining life making amends." After reading the letter, we had a long discussion. We decided to consider reuniting with Barbara, albeit with conditions. It would start with supervised, brief meetings, proceeding cautiously with guidance from Aiden's psychological counselor. "Mom, look." Aiden came running over. In his hands was a baseball scorecard. Our team won. I embraced my son. In that warmth, there was no trace of past suffering. Only hope for the future remained. "Dad, let's practice pitching next." Aiden ran toward Michael. Watching him, Caroline murmured, "Maybe children are wiser than us adults. They instinctively know the importance of letting go of hatred." In one corner of the garden, David was grilling meat on a new barbecue grill. Smoke rose toward the twilight sky. Children's cheers, adults' peaceful conversation, and gentle breeze. We wanted to carefully preserve this moment of tranquility. Michael put his arm around my shoulder. "Happy?" "Yes, very much," I answered with a smile. Barbara's final letter had included these words. "Perhaps there's no such thing as a perfect family. True family might be about understanding and forgiving each other." We were still on that journey. But we were definitely moving forward. Aiden's smile was proof of that. The Greenwich twilight seemed more beautiful than ever. Trees in the garden swayed in the wind, announcing the arrival of a new season. The scent of roses wafted gently through the air.